Okay, we're back. The Jaguar era was something of a golden age of mediocre rip-offs of Nintendo properties. We had the Mario Kart rip-off, and wouldn't you know it, there was a Star Fox rip-off as well. Not in a gameplay sense, but I guess at least in a stylistic sense. You got a talking animal, you got a spaceship. What else do you need? All that other shit will just take care of itself. So, much like with Cybermorph, you can do the levels in any order, and who needs artwork? Just put a stock photo of a lion in an admiral outfit, and away we go. This was top-of-the-line stuff on November 23rd, 1993. And then by November 24th, 1993, perhaps not so much. So the biggest flaw of this one is the fact that the spaceship doesn't move anywhere near as fast as it needs to. So you will just die constantly. See, we're a minute and 19 seconds into this and we're already on our first game over. Pathetic. I genuinely feel sorry for anybody who paid good money for a Jaguar back in the day. This shit is enough to radicalize people. You know, I think in total the Jaguar didn't even break 1 million units altogether. Maybe I'm thinking of the Jaguar CD and I'm getting them mixed up, but I remember reading a statistic somewhere that the Jaguar sold like 250,000 units in total, and if that's the case, it might actually be one of the worst-selling game systems of all time. I mean, even the crappy ones usually break 1 million, you know? Okay, a lot of good that shield did us, huh? Eventually there's gonna be a boss at the end of this. That'll give us something slightly different to look at. If we can make it that far. So yeah, I don't know if this was an intentional Star Fox ripoff or if that's just my imagination running wild, but there do seem to be some parallels there. Space furries and all that. Speaking of furries, you know, about a decade ago I was watching an episode of 1000 Ways to Die. Remember that on Spike TV? And they had a story about a guy who was he was on shrooms out in the woods. And wouldn't you know it, he stumbled into a bunch of furries out in the woods, and the furries were having like a furry orgy of sorts, and he wanted to get in on the furry orgy, but they just kind of shooed him away. And again, since he was on shrooms and he couldn't really tell what was what, he tried to have sex with an actual raccoon, not being able to tell the difference between an actual animal and a fake one, and the raccoon bit his penis off, and he died. That's a good story. Anyway, so I'm clearly shooting the guy here, but I don't seem to be making an impact.
What's up with that?
As if this game didn't suck hard enough as it is. They don't even let you fight the boss. I did a little bit with the special weapons, but surely they don't expect you to just rely on special weapons for the whole damn thing. You don't have enough. Yes, indeed, this is a game that you will never, ever, ever see on any mainstream gaming channel. Just me and Retro Pals are the only two places on the internet you can go to find this stuff. Not gonna see the likes of Jacksepticeye or Markiplier ever play this one, or any Jaguar game for that matter. If by some miracle it ever did come to that where Jacksepticeye started playing Atari Jaguar games, I would personally give you my home address and I would invite you to come to my house and smack me right in the face. 'Cause I have it on good authority that that's never gonna happen. So by the way, there's an invincibility cheat in this game, but I don't really have the means to make it happen. It requires 2 Jaguar controllers and this complex sequence, and then The added complexity of trying to figure out which buttons map to which when comparing an Atari Jaguar controller to an Xbox controller. And then on top of that, I don't even know if this compilation has that cheat in it. I don't think anyone's ever bothered to try it out either. And speaking of features that I couldn't be arsed to make work, there's also audio panning in this. Depending on what side of the screen you're on, when the ship's on the left side of the screen, the audio pans left. And when it's on the right side of the screen, the audio pans right. But when, if ever, are you going to be on the right side of the screen in a shoot-'em-up? And in a shoot-'em-up like this especially, where there's just far too much stuff on screen. I mean, look at this. You can't play this. It's like that scene from Star Wars where they fly through the asteroid field. Except for that part where they get through it. You remember that famous scene, don't you, where Han Solo says, "Where we're going, we don't need roads." Why do they just have cubes, by the way, as enemies? Is that just from a lack of creativity, or are space cubes a reference to something? No, that's not a fun observation. That's like something the irate gamer would say.
What the hell? What are all these cubes doing here?
Okay, we got an option. That'll help us again. For those of you not in the know, option is the shmup word for a second ship that can help you fight. At least the bosses have cool designs, if nothing else. So off camera, I thumbed through the instruction manual for the game, hoping to find some information about who Trevor McFur is and what he stands for, but like everything else in this product, it was rather half-baked and there wasn't much information to go on, really. So we'll just have to make up our own backstory for Trevor McFur. Trevor McFur was a man of the people. He was an ordinary man at a furry convention when one day a nuclear blast caused all the furries to fuse to their costumes, and thus he became a real-life, what kind of cat is he supposed to be? Is that a leopard? I'd say he's a leopard. So he became a real-life leopard man, and then one thing led to another, and then he became a space pilot. That sucks. Anyway, aesthetically, this one's definitely quite the leap from what we just looked at. This looks like the back of a mural at like a daycare center. There's a very strange texture to the back of it, too. I'm not sure what kind of texture they're trying to indicate. And then, of course, you've got the yellow and black caution striping as well. There really isn't a consistent theme to any of this. I mean, I guess they did have to get this game out by launch, so perhaps there wasn't a whole lot of time to think about these things. There's no time to look around. What the hell even was that level? Okay, well, yeah, I think that's enough Trevor McFur and the Crescent Galaxy. Honestly, I think the first 2 minutes was enough.